Hello and welcome to another. Well, it's not really a set of turns. Just sort of a special episode here of Dominions 5. I'm going to start looking at the Warhammer mod in preparation to hopefully play a game on that and sort of explore it. And joining me is Arpathius, who's been on the channel a couple times now. Go ahead and say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have not played much Warhammer besides Warhammer Total War 2 on the computer and, general osmosis from being on the internet. But I believe you have played a little bit.
Yeah, I've played mainly Warhammer 40k with my friends for 10 years. Got a
That's a
few
long
armies of
time.
that. I've got a 30k Horus Heresy army, and I've also got some Tomb Kings and some Vampire Cats. So I'm
Wow, okay.
excited to look at that.
Yeah. Now, of course, we're not going to start with those because I like the lizard people. Because in Warhammer Total War 2, you start with this great big undead frog guy who blows up hundreds of Skaven at a time. It's a great experience.
And we all know Skaven lives do not matter.
Totally worthless. That's right. So I was going to start by looking at them, and then we can maybe there's too many. So there's tons of races, right? You can see everything starting up here and down is a Warhammer race. So it's probably looks like 20 something. So there's quite a few. But I want to start by looking at the lizard. Itza servants of the old ones. So prior to this, I looked at this nation just a little bit. I did like a test game or two, but I wanted to because right there are no like guides really, and not a ton of recorded videos. I couldn't find one for Itza here, so we sort of need to forge our own plan here, the own which doesn't happen too much for the rest of the mins. Right, usually you can find sort of something out there as at least a starting point, but just to sort of start to go ahead and look through, and please just comment, jump in whenever you see anything. Right, I just want to start by going through some of the key units because obviously there's quite a few units here, and sort of what I think we're probably going to end up basing our plans around. So you have a scout who's a little more expensive but looks a little bit better. He's got glamour and super stealthy, so probably that extra 5 gold is worth it. Small little basic leader who is recruitable in forests. Generic 60 leadership guy. Pretty good hit points. Guy on cavalry. Source blood on a cavalry. He's got a couple extra attacks. He's got a lance. Again, better leader 100. I think he's our best leader. Because even our big guys aren't really leadership. So the best leader we can recruit is leadership 100, which is perfectly good for formations.
Yeah. So I would like to say that this is literally my first time looking at the mod.
Yes.
So we're looking at maybe joining a game with this. So this will also help me decide which nation I want to play. That guy's got two recruiting points for a leader. Seems
he does
pretty expensive, but he does.
You
could thug him. You could definitely thug that guy. I think, and 90 gold for a thug seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, at least
protection,
for
good defense skill. Yeah.
Great map move. 24 map move.
And recuperation's pretty nice.
Recuperation helps a lot. Yep. They're super. Yeah. They're super old. All of these lizards are old AF.
Well, they were made at the dawn of the world almost.
But don't they keep spawning? Don't new ones spawn? Or are they just old ones who are waking up?
They do, but they don't think they can die from old age.
It certainly doesn't look like it.
I think they keep growing as well as long as they're alive. So
okay, like a crocodile.
Exactly.
So yeah, two leaders. That's a good point, right? It is 2 points to get him, but
leadership
100. So that's
plus one morale.
I think that's +1. It's not the +2. Yeah, +1.
That's good though. It's good.
Yeah, it's certainly good. And I think a lot of our troops have okay morale, but we'll check it out. The next, this little mage is a priest of Sotek, who's also recruitable in all forests and swamps.
So foreign recruit, blood hunter looks.
Foreign recruit, blood 1, who can pick up either fire or nature as a secondary path.
And he's got Heretic.
He's got
Heretic
Heretic,
2.
and he's
That's big.
stealthy. I was trying to do a small test in like the arena map and I recruited a bunch of these guys to try and blood hunt something, and then I moved them all back to my cap and I dom killed myself. Before I got to test what I was trying to do. He's got a serpent as a weapon. That's hilarious.
Is that poisonous? I assume it is.
I'm sure it must be. Yeah, death poison.
Okay.
And then he's an inept researcher, but that may matter less, a little bit less, as we get there, right? Some survivals, and he's stealthy.
7 research for 80 gold isn't too
not,
bad.
It's not terrible. It's not great. He's not sacred. So it's a little expensive, but obviously the blood hunting is going to be a big aspect of what he can do. Mm-hmm. Your other non-Slann mage you can recruit in forts is this skink priest, who is sacred. And he picks up 1 elemental path that isn't fire, and then either astral or nature. So a lot of different cross paths.
Yeah, some good cross paths as well.
Yes.
Water, nature, earth, nature are good, and then any of the ones with astral is always nice.
Yes, I'm not aware of anything much between air and nature, but I'm sure something's up, like winged monkeys or something, right? Or maybe that's air.
The Amphere.
Okay.
I think it is. But you'd need higher in somewhere.
Right. But it's potentially gonna take a little while to get the one you want, right? Like getting the water nature cross path is only 1 out of 12. Right, because you need to. not 1 out of 12. 1 out of 6, because 1 out of 3 and 1 out of 2. Mm-hmm. But they are 9 research, and they are sacred for 100 gold.
Yeah. So is this guy? Looks like your main researcher.
I think he's your main researcher. He's also an auto communion slave.
Oh, okay.
Because his job is to support the Slanns, who we are about to get to. He's also stealthy, swimming. And they're also, all the lizards are cold-blooded, which is bad news, obviously.
Yeah.
Swimming
and poison resistance, it looks like. So.
Yes, a little. He's only got 7. Some of these guys they all have different amounts. They got 5. We'll get to the troops. They've got different amounts, which is fine. But next is what I think the main piece of this nation, sort of what you're signing up for, is these large toad things on their floating pillars, the Slann.
Yeah, love these guys.
Yes. So he is right. 7, 8. He's a 10 path mage. Randoming potentially 2 extra nature and then the elemental paths. He starts with 3 astral. He has shape changer. He changes into a dormant version of himself that costs less gold to maintain, because he's unbelievably expensive. 280 280 a year.
So is the idea you know, if you're gonna have a fight, you turn him into this, and when you're not, he's dormant. Is that...
I think the idea. We'll get to the rest of the mechanics, but I think the idea is you try and have like one of them active per fort, and then you activate the others when you need them.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Which is sort of, I think, the Slann are sort of like asleep and they're like ponderous. So they're like sort of slow to wake up. I think is maybe part of what that's getting at. But he's sacred. He's a holy 3. He has auto communion master, so he'll communion right up with those skink priests. And he's also got a casting speed increase, so you can get out. And he's got obviously every cross path except death and blood. And blood would really be quite easy to empower if you wanted to, if you've got blood 1's foreign recruit. And with a 25% casting increase and auto communion, he's going to be able to pump out huge spells on turn 1 before your enemy might be able to get their defenses online.
Yeah, and this guy was recruit anywhere?
This guy is recruit anywhere. That you have a fort. But not cap only. He does have a 700 gold price tag. So even if you can get them in all your forts, you probably could not afford it. Size 5, 50 hit points, so he's not going to be super easily taken out in a fight. Good MR, decent morale, not a good leader, just like bodyguards, basically. Let's see. His map move is slow. He's only going one tile a turn, I think. Unless I don't know if floating. I don't think floating makes you faster, right? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, does it count as, click on that again for a second? Does it count as having for combat,
swamp and
for
forest
movement and combat
survival?
purposes? Yes, they have swamp and forest survival for movement.
Right.
So if you took like a larger bless or the windwalkers, then you could get them going quite far.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they're affected by larger, are they? Can you go from size 5 to size 6? I don't think larger works that way, but we could check.
I think it does, doesn't it?
Okay.
I thought it did.
We'll have to go check.
What's that contemplate attack? What is that?
He deals 1 point of damage.
Okay.
he's contemplating. I think that this is either for flavor, or if you didn't want to burn out your communion, you could set him to fire.
Right. Yeah.
I think
that could be good.
Which is, yeah. I mean, it saves you. He also he only has crowns and laurels and 2 miscellaneous slots.
Yeah. Well, so this guy seems pretty amazing, and this is screaming a mage bless to me.
Yeah. He also has inspiring researcher 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now I did check. Inspiring researcher does not stack.
Okay. No.
So I think that's part of why you want at least one per fort to give everybody the inspiring researcher, but you don't necessarily need lots of them. He's incredibly expensive to sit at home for 25 research plus scales or whatever, but that's a lot of gold. So I think that if you're not using him for his paths, and it's not the one that's providing like the inspiring researcher buff, you may want him dormant.
Yeah. So what happens when does the paths change? How does dormant affect?
He does not. He has nothing. He has no paths. There's no research.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
He just sits tight.
Cool.
Yeah. And then the 4th so that was a 5th generation slot. So my understanding is that the earlier the generation, the more powerful the slot.
Yes.
So this is a 4th generation slot. So he's available only from the capital. And he is just about the same, except that he has an extra point of astral, an extra point of nature. Sorry, I was just double checking. And then he can random potentially higher nature, and he could double up on paths, whereas the other ones can't. So he's astral 4 right off the bat. I don't know if the star sign skullcap counts as a crown or laurel. I assume it doesn't. But he could get up. Yeah, he could get up to astral 5, and then if you wanted to give him a ring, up to astral 6. He has all the same abilities, except he's also a farcaster, and his casting speed is higher. The other one was 25%. His is 35%.
What kind of fort to get on your capital? Because he's 6.
Yes, he's also 6 recruitment points. It's a regular fort, so he's going to take you a whole extra turn. Now, I think in some ways that's not as bad as it seems, because he's 880 gold. You just can't afford that many of these. Normally, I would say that costs more than your starting a fort costs, but that's not going to be true for this nation. Your forts cost 900.
So, what is this in the Middle Age? What kind of?
This is Middle Age.
Right.
Yeah, Middle Age.
Very expensive.
So a lot of the same stuff applies between the two of them. He also has inspiring researcher, etc. He's just a bigger version, basically, the 5th generation, who's cap only and costs an extra 180 odd gold.
Yeah.
And then you also
the forts. If we just go over the unique, so the forts are more expensive. You start with a fort of so is that like fortified city? Is that like the Micklin?
I think it's like the Micklin.
Sort of, Makone.
Yes, I think they're not as. I want to say that they have lower stats. Now I can't remember.
Yeah, I think they have lower wall strength.
Yeah. Which my understanding is these guys do an awful lot of defending of their cities, so maybe they should have invested in better walls. But
when you've got slan, you don't need.
You don't need it. So your forts are 50% more expensive for weak forts essentially, and your temples cost 50% more as well.
Yeah, and then you've got these slan who are very expensive.
So putting together a new fort for your slan is, what is it, 900 2,300 gold to get a fully upgraded, or not fully upgraded, just a two recruitment point labs templed fort. Costs 2,000 plus gold to then produce 700 gold mages. So that's a lot.
So if we just go back to the skink priest, because that's your main researcher, and he isn't. He's fairly efficient, but he's not wildly efficient at researching. And then you've got the blood hunter. That's you're not. I don't think you're going to have great researchers this nation.
No, there's one more priest who's also forest and swamp recruitable, but is not recruitable. I think either in the other territories or not where you have a fort. I think he's foreign recruit only.
Okay.
He's only 6 research, but he's only 60 gold. And he can random an elemental and then another. He's got the same paths as the priest, I believe. Except he can also get fire. But he's not sacred. So he's going to cost less up front. And then overall, he's 48 gold a year. And these guys are 40. So he's slightly more expensive per year. But this guy you can get with just a lab in a forest.
Okay. So what do you think the purpose of this guy is? Is it just you have lots of untempled labs and it saves you from having to
I think
is that the idea of this guy?
I think I think you lab up forests because this guy's cheap. I think that they do a couple things. So they only have 6 starting research, but I think this nation really wants magic scales and the inspiring presence of the Slann. If you move them into one of the cities, it means these guys are going to research. You're going to get 10 research points for 60 gold.
Yeah.
Which isn't terrible. Also, half of them are going to have astral, so they can jump right into your communions.
They can, but they won't get the sort of turn one.
They will not get the turn 1, but they can still, and the turn 1 boosts up the Slann for whatever it is they're doing, right? The first big spell. But then these guys can then help them, just help potentially eat some of the fatigue load. Because none of these guys have 9 hit points. Your priests have like 8. So they're pretty fragile. Now, one thing you can do, and I think one of the things you're probably going to do with blood on this nation really early, is you're just going to throw one of these priests in and to the community and just have them do reinvigoration.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's going to be one of your main early uses for blood.
Does I assume all these nations have their own unique spells as well?
They do, although not that I went through that. They do not have that many. Okay. And the human nations have none, I believe.
Oh, really?
These guys we can go through it, but these guys, I believe their only unique spells are summons, and then maybe a blood remote, but I think it's bugged because I was trying it and I couldn't get it to do anything.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's still we'll get to that, but yeah, I think most of them are just summoning spells. I didn't see any other uniques with this nation. Some of them do have uniques. All right, hold on a second. Pause for the dog. Okay, sorry everybody. Had to hush the dog. He's going a little crazy. So yeah, I think their summons are basically or unique spells are basically just summoning Slann and these all of these Sauruses, these specific Sauruses.
Oh, this looks very cool. It does say many blood rituals uncastable in the description there.
Okay, you're right. It does say that. I don't understand what. I guess I don't know what it means. But the one literally, it's like there's a description. It just doesn't do anything.
Is this mod still a work in progress? I assume.
Maybe that's the problem.
Could we quickly just have a look at the commanders again, and we'll go over the troops, and then look at all those.
Scout.
So having a glamour scout seems pretty good.
Yeah,
is this
stealthy
guy
105,
or is he?
That's a great question.
Turn?
I think he's one. I think he's 4 turns. He does not appear to be foreign recruit to me. We can check.
If you go back to the overview and you just hover over it normally.
Oh, can be recruited outside forts.
Okay, that seems.
Yeah, he's a great scout. 105 stealthy. Plus glamour.
A little chameleon skink should be pretty good at that. Yeah.
Yes.
And then
the
so we
war
have the
chief is
skink war
recruitable
chief.
in all forests. I think he can maybe. So he's small leadership, but he is stealthy.
Yeah,
And
30 gold for a leader is pretty good
it
as well. I like
is,
I like this.
and I
Good
think
defense skill as well.
yeah, I think one thing you could potentially do with him too is if you take a forest early in your expansion, you can hire some of these to lead around the rest of your groups while you keep producing mages in the capital.
Yes. Can you? I assume some of your skink troops can be recruited in forest as well.
Yes, I think all of the skink troops can, except the red-crested skink maybe, and the
Interesting.
chameleon.
Okay. And then what was the third leader? We looked at the guy on the card.
Yeah, this one is just a generic. He's a 60. He's bigger than a human, right? He's got 3 times the human's hit points. Good protection.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
He seems good though.
I mean, he's fine. I don't know how much you're gonna be using him. I guess if you need a
One
leader and you don't
recruitment
have
point.
it, he's only one
Really
recruitment point. Then the old blood is 90 gold for 2 recruitment points, but he's a good leader. He's your best leader.
I think you want some of them, but I don't think 2 recruitment points. You really want to get those mages. Those mages seem fantastic. So
you absolutely do. I think in some of my testing I'd produce some of these early when I didn't necessarily have enough gold or resources to be trying to produce like one of these plus a half a mage. It's like I might as well just get the big guy and then have them around for later.
Yep.
And then our blood 1 heretics. So you do need to watch out for that because I think given I think we're obviously going to get to it, but I think given the overall immense cost, you're going to need a lot of scales, and you don't want somebody necessarily ruining your great scales with their hereticness.
No.
And then we have our little priest, 100 gold, auto communion leader or communion slave, and then the slot.
Cool. This seems like a good leader lineup.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. I was thinking that your problem, right, is you don't have a low cost way to go to war with somebody. Like you probably not. It's hard to bring.
If we look at the troops and then.
We'll go to the. I guess we'll do the troops first. So you have a lot of these little skinks. This one's got a range 5 gold, 1 resource. So you're going to see all of these guys have super low resource costs.
Because he's naked.
Well, this guy's naked, but all of these do, even the ones with equipment.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I guess
and
it's they don't use like metal, do they?
Right. I think that's the idea.
So
I haven't stealthy.
Is that? What's
5 damage, weak poison.
Okay.
Maybe. The skirmisher has a javelin, but 8 attack, 9 defense, 7 HP. He's cheap.
There's some good lance catchers here.
Yeah, you can definitely use guys to use some lance catching. An archer, little 8 damage short bow, maybe with flaming arrows. You can produce a lot of these guys, kind of like a pygmy from Machaka.
You can cast wind guide and flaming arrows for this nation.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep,
so it's
definitely viable.
Possible. Yep,
definitely viable.
Their MR isn't. It's quite good. 11 for a really cheap like that. It's pretty nice.
That's true. The red-crested skink is not recruitable in random forests. A little bit more gold, resources, etc. He's got a short sword. Still 2 protection. 15 defense is not nothing, but I feel like with this protection, he could be in some trouble. I guess he's got a shield, so that'll catch some number of the attacks. But he's also stealthy, so you could, these guys are all stealthy. I think you could do some little raiding parties.
I think maybe for 8 gold, that guy doesn't seem bad.
No, I think you're gonna. I mean, depending what you're doing with them, you're gonna have a lot of attrition. But he also has 25 poison resistance, whereas these others are not. These guys are 7.
You can cast foul vapors as well.
Yes, you can. If there's a spell that doesn't have death, you can cast it.
Yeah.
Or blood, but again, blood you could probably even still get to. The chameleon skink, very stealthy with glamour. He's got a blowpipe with strong poison. A few more recruitment points, 9 gold, 7 poison resistance. Again, all these guys are cold-blooded. Yeah. This guy's got dark vision.
Very high precision on that blowpipe.
Yeah, 12 precision. Going to be a great blood hunter helper. potentially.
Yeah, this guy seen potential with him.
Yeah.
No protection is still pretty painful, but
No
glamour
protection. No
helps with
protection
that.
hurts. It does. And
A glamour troop with strong poison for 9 gold seems there's things you could do with that, I think.
yes. Now again, we do have the potential problem here, right? Of we don't know what the other modded nations look like. So it's
No,
hard.
no.
It's easy to potentially be like, I love the way these nations troop looks, right? Then you look at the others and you're like, oh, never mind, these are garbage.
Oh, I'm sure, But so far
Yeah, so far, no, they seem pretty
that
good.
guy seems good. I like him.
Next, we have 2 Saurus warriors. I believe the only difference is their weapon. But so these guys have 50% more HP than a human, 14 gold, 7. So you can see pretty low resources, right? 7 resources. Their protection isn't very good. It is natural protection only. They have no armor. 11 defense. So they're going to take a lot of damage, but they're a little bit healthier than a human would be. And they have 2 attacks. And they're only size 2, so you get to put 6 attacks a square.
With the skink size 1? I don't remember.
Good question. I didn't double check. Yes, they are.
Yeah. So the red crested skinks?
They just the 1 attack.
Yeah, 14 damage on a size 1 unit.
Yeah, 11 attacks, not terrible. I mean, that's for what it is. I'm just checking to see. Okay, yeah, nobody else has. I want to see if anybody else had 2 weapons.
Okay, so I'm surprised the Saurus Warrior is size 2.
It is a little small. I would have said I thought they were larger.
Yeah, I'm not loving. I think this unit is sort of an early game unit, and my reason for that is he's all natural protection, so he doesn't take the protection buffs as well.
He does. Yeah, he does not take the legions of steel.
And 14 gold is for a non-sacred unit that you want a lot of. I think it's quite expensive for this nation.
Yes, he's got decent morale as well.
He does. He's not bad, but
yeah, I know. I would agree. More of an early game unit, but again, six attacks per square on like your generic infantry is not too bad.
Oh, it's an elite troop, but I don't think it's. I think it's got.
There'll be more interesting stuff. Yeah. This is.
I can't wait to get to that stegodon at the end.
Yeah. This guy's about the same, except he's got a spear. So that's a length 3 spear. I think his resource he costs like slightly fewer resources. Yeah, this guy's 7 and this guy is 4. So you can get a few more of these. I think you can also potentially. I think you can do the trick right where you recruit them like one than the other, so they end up with a spear in each square.
Yep.
To help with that repel.
It's got slightly lower defense. I don't think you'll get many repels with attack 11 though.
That's true, but it helps a little bit for like expansion and stuff. He's not going to repel any determined assault. These guys only have poison resistance 3.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So they're gonna be a little resilient to foul vapors. They have more hit points than a human, but if the fight goes long, foul vapors, you'll kill these guys too.
Yeah, they're still going. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Next up, we have our skink cavalry. So 18 gold. Again, low resources, more recruitment points. Not a lot of HP, but it is a stealthy, light cav. Stone lance and a bite. So 2 attacks, only 9 attack skill though.
Does the stone lance break?
It has it's a charge bonus for the first one. So it's gonna help a little bit.
So you keep the 2 attacks.
I think you keep the 2 attacks.
Yeah, you're not gonna. You can do 17 damage on the charge with that.
Yeah, you'll hit pretty hard in the charge.
Yeah, I don't know.
Size 3 for cavalry, so you can fit 4 attacks per square. Defense is pretty good, 16. Great map movement, and they are stealthy.
Yeah, that's a low attack skill though, and no armor,
I would agree.
For 18 gold,
I think that these are probably a miss for me for the most part.
You could maybe raid with them, but I think you've got other options with the skinks and stuff as well. So.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Next up, we have one of our 2 flyers, and this one is recruitable in all forests. 30 gold, so that's definitely more than a lot of the other stuff we've looked at for only a 7 HP unit, although I believe that the 7 HP is with the guy on the back. I think when the guy dies, the raptor will keep fighting for a little bit, though you will lose it at the end of combat. But they, I mean, they're stealthy flyers. Pretty low attack skill, but they are 2 attacks. Low resources.
They'll have
of course.
that issue where if you attack and then they beat whatever they're fighting, they'll start using the javelins.
Yeah, they'll start using the javelins. I expect if you have these guys, they're going to kind of die in mass. They've got bird problems.
Also, with it being forest recruits, 28 recruitment points, it's going to be pretty tough for you to get more than a couple of them. That's true. Otherwise, I think looking at this, you'll want very high order, and you don't need huge production. So
yes, my initial thoughts were 3 order and -3 production.
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
And they're poison resistant 7.
Yeah, flies are always good to have, though. It was good to have that.
Yes, and you do have another. We'll go ahead. We'll jump these 2 real quick. Just look at the other flyer while we're looking at flyers. So this guy costs 50% more, but has over twice as much protection, much higher defense. He's recruitable in highlands and mountains.
Okay.
He's got 3 attacks, and you're going to get 2 of them per square. Again, 10 and 11 is not great attack. Excuse me, not great attack, but he does at least have some armor, so he can take a buff.
Yeah, 3 attacks is going to harass people down as well.
Oh yeah, so especially two per square.
Painful. Yeah. There's no flying commander though, is there?
There is not a flying commander.
Yeah, that hurts, I think.
Now these guys are map move 28. Yeah. Now a lot of your commanders, this skink, right, does have forest and swamp survival. He's got map move 20, so he's obviously not getting you all the way there, but it's not nothing. And I think you can.
Is there a summon, a flying summon you can get?
I don't think so. There's a spell that summons flyers, but I don't know that it has any.
Yeah. Are these all the summons? Is that what that?
These are the summons down here. Yes. So the way they help you see some of the summons is they put them as these sites that don't ever show up.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Which is nice. Yeah, So we'll get to them in a sec. But yeah, I don't think you get a unique commander, which we'll look at, who's a flyer, like a hero, but you only get 1.
Okay.
So I don't think that flying raids using their full mobility are going to be easy.
If you did Call of the Winds, you could.
I mean, yeah, you can get into it.
Worth it, maybe.
And use the rest of the birds for like blood hunting or something, blood patrolling.
Yeah.
Next up, I think it's going to be one of the key units. This Temple Guard is our only sacred troop.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I think he's the only one. So 35 golds, 12 resources, 35 recruitment. Now the resources I think he costs a lot more than a lot of these other units, but I don't think it'll be quite as relevant because you can only hire so many of them. Because they are sacred.
And the ratio is still sort of very order, low productivity leaning.
Yes. Now, the unique thing about these guys is you can only hire them when you have a Slan present in your fort, but you can hire them in any fort that has a Slan.
Okay.
So
they're quite good.
Yeah, it seems really good, but you can't rely on them to expand for you because you're not going to have one of these, 700 gold mages that cost 4 recruitment points until well into expansion. So you can't rely on them to expand for you. They're going to have to come online later. But they've got a long length spear. They've got 2 attacks at attack 12, which is a little bit better. 13 defense. They have armor, so they will take buffs. They've got 15 protection, which is not great for the middle age, but isn't like terrible. Better HP than a human, and they're size 2, so you can fit again 6 sacred attacks per square.
Yeah, I'm not. They look decent. What's the castle defense bonus they've got and the bodyguard?
They have 1 castle defense bonus, and the bodyguard of 3. So you're definitely going to want these guys guarding your Slan.
You're always going to want some of them because if you ever get a Slan assassinated,
right, you're going to be so sad.
Yeah, you're going to be so sad. So you definitely want that, I think.
Yes, agreed.
Looking at this immediately, I still think because you really want that mage bless. I don't think you're going to take a bless for these guys.
I don't think you could take a pure bless for these guys, but we'll get the bless. I'm thinking that a lot of the things that your mages might want, though, you can have help these guys out too.
Yeah.
And they've got a little bit of poison resistance, but again, only 3, so they're not They're not getting there all by
take,
themselves.
Blood Surge and get that little bit of reinvigoration.
You could take like Blood Surge.
They'd quite like that, I think, because they're quite likely to kill something. I think 22
Yeah,
damage
22,
is
big,
no
and
joke,
it's pierce and slash.
Yeah, and 15 damage bite isn't even bad. So
right, their MR isn't particularly good. At 11, but their morale is excellent.
Yeah, I think the map move 18 is also
they have good map move.
very nice. What was the Saurus? Are they quite high map move as well?
They
just the
are
basic Saurus.
18.
They're also 18. That's okay.
Yeah, you're a pretty high map move nation. Although it's funny because their combat speed is so low. It's only 9.
Yeah, I think it's kind of how skeletons have a very high map move.
Yes,
they never stop walking. I think it's a little bit similar for these guys.
I think that's the idea. No Saurus has ever died from old age. That's what you said.
They're growing on me a bit then. They're growing on me.
Yeah, you're a high map move nation, except when you're marching with your slot.
Yeah, I think
ponderous.
Yeah, getting something on the bless to give them more map move could be very nice.
Yes. So these are your temple guards. So again, they're sort of a recruit anywhere sacred, but you have to sort of build them up. So you can't rely on them, I think, too much for your expansion or even your first war. Which
they
might
seem like a mid-game sacred, which I can't think of many examples of that in the base game. But
no, it is somewhat unusual.
Interesting.
And then next up, you have these Kroxigor, who are recruitable in swamps plus your capital. These guys have 30 hit points, cost no resources, but a pretty good recruitment cost, and they cost 40 gold. They're size 3, 15 protection, all of it natural. But they have a 30 damage club plus a 21 damage bite.
I think they have a similar role to the. Is it the Obakamona Shiniyama?
Yes.
Very low. Although these do have higher recruitment point, but if you need something to hit very hard and that's all it needs to do, then
yes, I think these guys are great at whacking things, but they are a specialized tool.
They're very fast. Combat speed 17.
Yeah, they are. They're super. Yes, they're super fast.
But you could maybe flank with them. 2 attacks, maybe.
Yeah. They've hit 2 to a square.
They haven't got bad morale either. They're okay.
Yeah. I think they've got a place, but I think you use them with a purpose. I don't think you just set these guys on recruit, keep recruiting.
Yeah, I haven't really seen any or many of the troops. I don't think have a place, which is definitely credit to the mod maker.
Yeah. Yep. We already looked at the Ripperdactyl. Next up, this is a unit that I have enjoyed a lot. The Saurus Cavalry. So size 4, 18 hit points, 14 protection, but 15 defense. That's pretty good defense. They have 3 attacks at 11, 18 combat speed. They have recuperation, poison resistance 5, so a little bit higher than some of our other guys. They are one of the highest recruitment point costs that we sort of have.
That's very high, isn't it?
It is quite a lot. But I was doing some expansion. 5 of these guys with this dude beat everything but barbarians.
I think the leader guy could probably solo a lot of provinces himself, but size 4 is a bit of an issue.
Size 4 is yes, they're only going to get 1 per square.
It does give you 2 extra damage on the charge with the lance, though. So there's that.
Very good map movement. The lizard will keep fighting if the rider dies, but will leave after combat.
Oh, okay. Do you just lose the lance attack, or how does that?
I believe you just lose the lance attack. But that helps.
A lot of hit points, or does anything?
I don't remember. I'd have to go in. We'd have to open it up and check to get one lost. But that really helps prevent you from routing because you don't really lose the unit. And it's sort of like having a really big undying, right? Because you lose it at the end of combat, but it'll keep soaking hits, keep fighting.
Yeah, this guy, 50 gold is very expensive for a cav unit, but he is expensive. He's kind of a cav unit on steroids.
Yes,
I like him. He's also cool. So
he is cool. And again, with the length 4 weapon, it's going to help for repels.
Does that lance break? No. Okay, so you can repel with it then.
Yeah, I think you can repel with it. And 11 attack isn't the highest, but at length 4, I think you're gonna get an okay amount.
Yeah, yeah.
So
All
that's
the attacks are high damage. Yeah,
yes,
sort of like a early mid game unit again, though I think because of the
yeah.
and the low MR,
They're
no
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah, low MR.
Um,
Good morale.
yeah, yeah.
A lot of like a lot of units, you're basically immune to Wind of Death, right? Max H
Max age
10,000.
10,000. I love that.
Next we
Their
have
encumbrance isn't as high as I would have.
yeah, it's only
Thought,
5. Like compared to our regular guys,
these
it's only 1
yeah.
higher. Yeah, these are 4.
I like them. They're good.
Yeah, they seemed pretty good to me. The Razor Dawn, 75 gold, limited recruitment, but it doesn't. I don't know if this means that they just don't have a recruitment point cost, or if
They
it's
do.
just not showing. Okay, I think it just means
Yeah,
it's
they
not
will do.
showing me.
They'll be limited to. That means
Yeah, you can only
there's a
get 2 of them or
hard limit.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you see how much they cost. But
We'll
they
assume
have.
it's high though, based on the name.
Yeah, I would assume it's high. They have a little bit of poison resistance. They're stealthy. They're undisciplined and they're animals. So they definitely have a life expectancy right there, right? A 75 gold animal is
with
not
MR9
something
is
with MR9 is not going into late game combat.
No.
But while you do have them, they're size 3, so you can't get 2 to a square. They have 2 attacks and then a ranged attack.
Can you click on the ranged attack and how much
yes.
ammo and stuff it has? The number is
Only
5. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a whole big bunch
Armor
of
piercing,
spikes.
range strength, so you can buff that.
Yep, it can be buffed.
Okay.
Only 2 shots though.
Well, but it's sort of like 10, right? So.
But yeah. So you're just getting them. Yeah, it's like 10 shots. You're just getting them all.
13 precision on that. Those
is not terrible. Yeah,
that's very nice. So.
And again, yeah, you can buff it. So you throw Strength of Giants on, and it's what 17.
Yeah. 17 armor piercing is very good.
Yeah, I don't know if this works with like flaming arrows and wind guide, but I assume it would.
I think so. I don't see why it wouldn't.
So definitely a reasonable unit early on, but with a time, it's going to run out of life. With MR this way.
What is this guy for though? Because you've got other things that hit hard. So, and he's 75 gold.
He's very expensive. I am not sure
because he's only got those 2 rounds he's shooting, and then he's going in combat, and
he's gonna die.
Skill 8, he length 0. I think he's gonna die.
I would agree. I'm not entirely sure what you do with him. He looks cool. I don't know if maybe he's good at helping expansion.
Yeah, maybe
I haven't tested
having
it.
one of them in expansion.
Right. I mean, it checks out a lot of attacks. And in expansion, right, he's probably not quite as likely to die. He does have 30 hit points.
Yeah, he'd maybe be better in the late age where his armor piercing would matter more.
Yeah.
He's unlikely to actually kill something with 13 damage. He's just more likely to be able to wound something.
Right. So yeah, we'll have to test him. I'm not exactly sure what to do with this guy.
Yeah, but I feel like there is a place for him somewhere.
He's cool.
He's cool.
We then have the fire version, who is amphibious. He's our only amphibian, I believe. We have no amphibious leaders. Obviously, you can make a ring of water or whatever.
Okay.
He's got a little fire resistance, a little poison resistance. He's also an animal and undisciplined. Costs even more gold. But he chucks out a fireball. He guys get 3 armor-piercing magic damage fireballs.
Right. Okay.
Before he runs into combat.
Do you buff the strength, increase the range, and the damage by the looks of it?
I think so.
I think so. -4, so I assume.
Yeah, -4, and he starts 16, so 12. So yeah, I think it'll take a bless there too, or not a bless, sorry, a buff.
Yeah.
So he sort of is like a non-mage fireballer, but he costs as much as your mages.
Yeah, I don't see, because he's got lower MR. I'm not slightly more expensive. I'm not quite sure why you get this guy instead of the other guy.
Yes.
Because the other's got 5 attacks, he can hit like 3 guys in a square if it's a human, so maybe less.
Right. Now this is this does have an area of effect 1. So it'll hit the whole square.
Yeah.
But
more like all or nothing, isn't it?
Yes.
But this guy's got precision 13 as well, which is good.
Not too bad.
Very good.
And then finally is the Stegodon.
You also can't use that guy's fireball underwater, so the amphibious isn't.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, underwater, this guy. What is he got a poisonous damage on his bite?
He's got fire
damage. Ah, okay. Interesting.
Extra fire damage. Is that? It's armor piercing.
That's not like the Morvarks. It's not area.
That's effect, I was gonna say it doesn't look like a Morvark. No. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, then could have been a different story.
Then maybe we're talking.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled by that guy.
Yeah, I think these are going to be harder to use. But then finally you have the Stegodon, 280 gold. So that's
more expensive.
That's a lot. 100 recruitment points, 50 resources.
That 50 resources is going to hurt.
It's going to really hurt.
Doesn't go with the rest of the nation, yeah.
He's got Fear 5. He's slash resistant. And trample. He's a size 6 trampler. So he's like an elephant. He's got better morale though. He's got 13 morale.
Yeah.
Unsurroundable. He is an animal with bad MR. So again, his lifespan is totally limited. He's really expensive.
Yeah. What's the unsurroundable number? How
one? Just one.
And he's only got 9 defense. Does he? If
good protection.
Do the riders die? Does he?
I think this is the whole form. I don't think you can lose just the riders.
Okay, I'm not.
I think this is a unit that doesn't translate well to Dominions because it can't attack and fire like it would in I'm sure.
What is that Stegodon Rampage? Is that got any extra effects or is that just number of attacks 3? Okay.
3 attacks. Okay. But he's not going to use it very often, right? Because I think he's just going to trample.
Yeah, and he's 280 gold is too expensive for like an anti-giant person, isn't it? Yeah.
I think he looks cool. I think he's too expensive.
Yeah.
Amusingly enough, he can also die he does not have a long lifespan.
Yeah.
I remember.
Do the skinks have multiple attacks? Does he?
Which ones? Oh, yes, 6.
6 attacks on that, and then because he's
but only 2 ammunition.
Will he fire first and then go into?
He is not undisciplined.
Oh, okay. And then how many javelins does it shoot? Because there's a load of
6. So
he shoots
with 1 ammunition.
Okay.
So he'll shoot out 12 bolts or 12 missiles in the first round, and then 6 in the next round, and then he's going to be out of ammunition.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. It's too much. All your gold is going to go on other things, I think.
Yeah, I think
the resource is too high. It's yeah.
It's like fight the dog again. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. We're back. Stegodon, very cool. Probably too expensive. Is an animal.
Yes. Should we have a look at the summons?
Yes. Although the only thing I want to say first is I remember getting a giant T-Rex in Warhammer Total War 2, and I want a T-Rex, who I'm sure is going to have all the same problems.
I'm seeing a distinct lack of Carnosaurs.
Okay, so there's 1,000 of these summons.
Okay, yeah.
But are
they all sacred, or are they?
No, they are not. I think most of them are, though. So the first group is the one that isn't. So each time you cast the spell, I believe you get.
How do you get these? Yeah.
So there's a bunch of unique spells. I think they all cost different things, but at least some of them cost either all cost different gems or they all cost pearls, except the first 2, which cost blood. We'd have to double check exactly what it is.
Interesting.
But the first one you get every time you get a commander, and you get 12 Saurus.
Right. Okay.
But they do still cost upkeep. Okay. I know these guys are 33 blood slaves. I do not remember how much these others are, so we'll have to check.
33 is fairly expensive. How many do you?
I believe you get 12 and 1 leader.
Okay, that's a decent amount.
It's just not terrible.
You can get a lot of blood hunters, but
you can. They're not sacred though.
Yeah, you're going to have to kind of do like tall blood hunting because the heretic, aren't you?
Yes, I think you're going to have to do tall blood hunting.
Okay.
And so these guys are Berserker 2. They've got, high damage stuff, low protection, low defense. They're very similar. So looking at this guy, right? I think he's very similar to your Saurus.
Yeah, but Berserk is good.
Berserk is not nothing, and his damage is a little bit higher.
Yeah, I think this makes me feel more like I'm not like if I was playing the nation, I wouldn't be recruiting Saurus. I think I'd be recruiting the other things.
Yeah, you can get these guys as what you're spending the blood slaves on. But again, they do still have upkeep, so you gotta be careful with them.
Yeah.
And then the rest of these all do have unique elements. Like these guys are cold resistant.
Yeah. Amphibious as well.
Amphibious as well, and this is a priest. I think the rest of them are all priests. Oh, the leaders are all priests, and then they are all sacred. So yeah, this one's amphibian and cold resistant. So I guess maybe the idea, right, is you try and spawn the ones that are useful against what you're up against.
Yeah, that seems cool. I like that.
Which is neat. Again, high damage.
Kind of fits in with their lore because these are like the unique spawnings that are from the Great Plan, and they're supposed to arrive for exactly the need that
the right need. Okay,
so that's very thematic.
Like expanding underwater.
Exactly.
These guys have dark power, and the leader is an assassin.
I like that. That's cool.
And then these guys, the regular troops have dark power and a venomous bite.
Yeah, you can cast solar eclipse, so that's useful.
Yep. Although the rest of your troops don't have it, so you better put Spirit Sight in your bless if you're going to plan on that. Because again, I think these
one of the skinks didn't that have dark vision?
Yes, one of the skinks did. That's true. You could combine it with the skinks, but I want to say that these did not cost a super mass. Like it's not like 5; it's like 20 or something gems, maybe 15 or 20, and you to get 12 and the leader.
Okay, right. That's quite expensive. Okay.
I think they're a little expensive. This guy's a priest too, and is mindless.
I assume these are quite low research though.
They're scattered all over the place.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we'll look at the spells when we load up a game, but I want to say they're scattered in all the different trees at different costs and at different levels.
Oh, so it's not just like all conjuration.
No. I think more of them are conjuration, maybe. I'd have to check. But they're definitely not all conjuration. So yeah, this guy's mindless with a big castle defense bonus.
It's your only magic weapon that I think I've seen so
far? Yes. I think on the basic troop.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he's the only one with a magic weapon. Besides, I think that's right. So they're going to definitely have a use for that.
30 morale ever.
Yes, they're perfect morale or whatever. I guess I don't know. Do undead have 100 morale or do they have 30 morale?
50, but that 50. Means like you'll never route Evan. 30, right. You will, but it's very, very hard.
Yeah, 25 fire resistance. So they're not going anywhere in a hurry, and these guys have more hit points too, I believe. A lot of the others I think had like 15. These are 19.
Yeah, I'm still. If they're so expensive, I'm still not.
Yeah, we'll have to double check on the price, but I would agree. I thought they were a little expensive.
Okay.
The next one is the Lore Scale, who has Blink.
Okay.
And a magic weapon.
Yeah,
but I think it's
nice.
I think it's just they all have blinks, but only the troops don't have a magic weapon.
Okay, the Moonblade is really good.
The Moonblade's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Hit people with that.
Yeah, you could anti-thug somebody with that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. The Sun Scales have fire resistance 30, and they have awe 2 and firepower, and you're going to want to be in heat 3.
Yeah.
So these, and they have an extra attack.
Oh, they have. Okay.
Scouring Gaze, bonus versus undead demons, armor piercing.
Area effect 1.
Area effect 1, yeah. These, I think, have more. These look better to me than all the others we've seen. Oh, this is the leader. Never mind. Hold on, that's the leader.
Oh, okay.
That's what's wrong. I always do that. The regular ones,
Right.
fire
okay.
resistance 30 and fire power, but they don't have awe and the rest of it.
That feels like such a letdown.
It does. I was so excited.
They don't seem.
These ones are unsurroundable. That he's like more generic.
They have more protection.
They have a lot more protection. Okay, yeah. That's not bad though. And then these guys, they don't actually have 1 hit point. They have a bubble, and then they have some other number of hit points once the bubble pops.
Right. Okay. Pretty cool.
Which is cool. But I think the fire. I don't remember if the fire shield is bubble only. No, we
right.
have to...
Okay.
So they're super resistant to shock resistance, but weak to fire.
Shield and susceptible to fire. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, but again, it's just the bubble.
Right. Okay.
So once the bubble pops, they look a little different. But they have maybe more of a... they're gonna survive the first cast of anything because the bubble will absorb any amount of the first bit of damage.
Right.
And with cold resistance and shock resistance, that might take and poison resistance, right? Unless somebody's chucking fire at you, you might be able to weather a decent amount of extra stuff.
16 defense is pretty high as well.
Yeah, lower protection though, I think.
Yeah, I think.
But again, this is the bubble though, so once it pops, you'll see a different form.
Right. Okay.
So we'd have to try and get them to pop.
Interesting. So there's a lot of very cool ones there, but the troops didn't seem fantastic. Some of the commanders seem pretty cool.
Yeah, the commanders seem neater. Now, these are the second generations. Actually, let's go in the other order because we don't want to get to the top summons first. So these are the ones you can. These are the other summons. The third generation Slan is a whopping, what is that? 8, 13, 16, 17 path mage with 4 holy.
Yeah. Oh, and he's a Dominion spreader.
Dominion spreader, Farcaster, 45% casting speed increase.
Yeah, so he can almost do 2 spells before somebody's done one.
Yes, he's like a Royal Maliki.
He's what a Royal Maliki is to everything.
Well, in terms of the casting speed, I think our Royal Maliki still casts faster.
Yeah, and I think innate caster 50% faster.
Yeah, and I think innate caster means you don't care about the cast time. Is that right? I can't remember.
You cast everything because if it was form or something, it's 100% cast time.
Right,
and but even if it would be faster, you cast it at that, so
that's true.
End up doing slower.
That's true, but yeah, that won't be the case for this guy. But he has an extra miscellaneous slot.
Do you pay his upkeep though because he's got gold of 1,000?
I'm sure you do. Yeah, 400 gold a year.
Yeah, but this seems what your nation's about.
It is, but again, I think you have this guy right now, and I don't know if the Dominion Spreader gets turned off when he goes into contemplation mode. He also comes with a little bit of resistances right off the bat.
Nice.
Which is nice, and 24 morale, 20 MR, 70 hit points. So
yeah,
he's
20 MR is higher than the Pretender Guts.
Yeah. I believe this costs 50 Astro Pearls, which is a huge steal.
Yeah, that's very good value.
Yeah. And again, we're going to have to check all these costs. I could be wrong. He also has Farcaster.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you would still do it, I think, even though it's very expensive.
Yeah, and then there's the Serpents. These are what I was trying to summon, and they didn't work. Again, I don't know if it could be user error. Okay. But these guys, I think you have a spell which to me read like summon imps, and you chuck these serpents at people. The Jungle Serpents, again, I think you have a spell which rains them down on people and then leaves the unit behind.
Okay. So they're just a battle summon?
I think they're just a battle summon.
Okay. Well, I was thinking you could maybe use them as patrol craft.
You could maybe, but I think they're just a battle summon.
Okay. So it's kind of like Swarm.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. But I don't know how many you get, so we'll have to go through and try and cast these. Unfortunately, when I tried to get the arena casting mod, it didn't include any of these spells. And I don't know if I did it wrong or if it doesn't include them because they're like, not the generic spells. But I couldn't get the nation to cast any when I loaded it up that way.
Oh, okay.
So I then had to try and research the long way, which is when I dom killed myself.
Can you not look on the mod inspector? I think this mod has.
This mod is in the mod inspector, although it's an old version. So right, I don't know if we could guarantee that it's the same, but we can do that. We can do it that way too. So yeah, that's the 3rd generation Slann, and then the 2nd generation Slann are all unique. These ones, I believe, cost.
These are very strong. So from Total Warhammer to Mazda Mundi, I think is a 2nd generation. So that's sort of the power level we're talking about.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and I want to say that these are also cost 80 pearls. So I mean, that's the 5, 8, 12, 17, 20 path mage with 5 holy.
Right, yeah.
He's got big resistance. He's got huge fire resistance. He's shock resistant, a little bit of poison. He's got a fire shield, firepower 2. He generates fire gems. Dominion Spreader 2, Farcaster, 50% casting speed increase.
The Dominion Spreader is quite nice, considering you'll have quite a lot of heretics.
Yes, I think the Dominion Spreader definitely could come in handy. 110 hit points, even more
he costs
MR.
No upkeep.
That's what it says. I wonder. There may be one we need to check, but it does say none.
Interesting. Okay.
And yeah, he makes fire gems.
I mean, for 80 gems, it seems pretty amazing. I'm not quite sure, what he's going to do that the other Slann can't do.
I'd have to go through. I don't know if he's going to unlock additional rituals because your other Slann, right, don't necessarily have huge base paths.
Yeah.
And they don't have any slot. They don't have as many slots.
You could maybe wish with this. Could you get him up to wish?
So I think it's crowns and laurels only. So
if the Starshine skill cap is,
you would need the cap to work, and I want to say that it doesn't, but we'd have to check because otherwise it's only 8.
Yeah,
and a very expensive 8 at that. That's without artifacts. But obviously he's going to chuck out huge number of spells at very high power levels.
Yeah, I mean the lizard men should have at least the top 2. One of the top 2 strongest mages in the game.
I think that they have this. Yeah.
Maybe the greater demons of Siege.
Siege is not in the game yet, so.
Well then there's no comparison.
This guy is Earth 6. He's on this big Triceratops looking thing. He does trample. He's got awe, fear.
That's gonna fatigue him out if he ends up doing that. So.
Yeah, I think you just have him casting. So I don't think that he's ever going to actually go.
In terms of reinvigoration, how much reinvigoration is
that? 4.
4. Very nice.
Although I don't know how much it matters, right? If he's already in a communion.
Well, I think it doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm. These guys also, it's a good bit. So I just noticed these guys not cold-blooded. I want to check the rest of the. Yeah, your Slann are not cold-blooded, although all of their communion slaves are.
Okay.
So I don't know how that works, though. I don't know exactly how cold-blooded works. They just fatigue out from being there, right? Even if they're not doing anything?
So, no, they have to do something.
Okay, so then
it just increases your encumbrance, but they'll take more because they will take encumbrance from the casting of the spell, I think. So it will.
Well, they won't. These guys don't. Okay, just when the other guys are casting, it'll still be higher. Okay,
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this guy is also neat. He's got huge Earth access.
Well, even if he if these ones burn out their communion, they can still cast.
Yeah, I mean he's just gonna keep on going anyway.
Yeah.
I mean it's sort of more the same.
Fear and awe should keep him alive if somebody jumps on him. It should be nice.
Yes. Astral 7.
With 4 miscellaneous.
4 miss slots. Air 5. So this guy actually has like really low other paths, and then just super high air astral. He's also got various resistances.
Is shock resistance? Because he could maybe
14.
Okay, I was going to say you could rattle skies, but you'll yeah. I mean, you still can, but you'd probably want to.
Yeah, I
probably want an item for that.
A little bit of
extra.
Does he
help. Generate
2 pearls?
Gems, 2 astral. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
5. Yeah. I don't think
too.
the higher priest level really matters because that gets boosted with your.
Exactly. I don't think it's going to do much for you, but it's there. And then the last one has the bubble and unbubble.
Is this like the like the Calum summons, commander summons? Do you cast this and then it randomly picks one of these 5 and then it gives
No, I believe you get to pick which one you get.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And they all cost astral pearls.
Okay.
So it's sort of the same as the others, right? He's got 4 miscellaneous slots, huge path access. This is the bubble. So he generates 1 water gem, barcaster, etc. And then in the non-bubble form, yeah, he doesn't have that fire weakness. 41 cold resistance, 6 water. So this is your big water guy. So obviously these are 80 astral pearls.
Which is a steal, but
which
you also
is a
have
steal.
the other things and your crucibles. So
right,
I think you get these instead of the 3rd generation.
The 3rd generation or 50, yeah. Now these are higher research level, unsurprisingly.
Yeah. What's your gem income from your capital?
It is 3 pearls, and then 1 nature and 1 water.
Okay.
So you've got a nice pearl income to start.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do you're gonna do a really good job of finding astral early if you get some of these guys out site searching, but you're gonna find all the low level other stuff, but you'll actually kind of miss a lot. You're probably gonna have to go back and like remote site search potentially because you're gonna miss a lot of these low paths.
Maybe one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean these guys, they'll have 2 in a couple of the paths.
No, I mean the summons.
Oh, maybe that's pretty late.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't cost you gems. Depends on your situation.
Yeah, it depends on if you haven't gotten it done yet, then yeah, they'll do a pretty good job. But I think that's it for the summons. There are also you have a 4th generation hero as a 4th generation slot as a multi-hero, so you can just get these with luck.
That's really good. And then they're free because they're a multi-hero, I assume. Is there a hero?
I don't know. It still says gold.
Yeah, the heroes are normally free.
Okay, well, I'd say we'd have to test then. And then you have unique heroes. So all the nations have these luck independent unique heroes.
Luck independent.
Yes.
How does that work?
I guess that your luck doesn't impact how quickly they show up.
So it's as if you just have neutral luck.
I do not know the exact mechanic.
Okay.
I don't know the percentage chance. Now, I would say in some brief expansion testing, I've had a lot of these guys show up. It feels like way more than a 3% chance. But I don't know precisely what it is.
Right, okay.
So you get a flyer.
So this is the guy we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, this is your only flying one. He's kind of neat. He's an heir to very good leadership.
What's his item?
He has the Mask of Heavens, which is cursed, which gives MR, and he just can't take it off. Okay. They all have something like this, and not this particular one, but something like it. So he's an heir too. You can definitely raid with him, but he's not really breaking you in anything all that unique. And if you use him on deep raiding, he is liable to eventually die.
Yeah, yeah. 3 miscellaneous slots is kind of interesting.
Yes,
I'm not really sure what you do with it, but maybe 35 hit points is a lot. So
it is a decent number of hit points. Your next one is you have one of these little chameleon skinks who is a really patient assassin who can scale walls, but he has no paths. So you're going to want to throw some Pokemon items on him He does have this golden blowpipe, which is death poison. He has 18 precision.
Well, he's got 23 with that weapon.
Or 23 with the weapon, though. But,
that's I don't think I've seen anything that high. 2 attacks with it as well.
Yes.
Is he supposed to be Oxalotl? Is that basically who
yes,
he is?
that is who he is.
Okay, yeah. That's very cool.
You
could definitely counter with that guy. That'd be really cool.
Hold on, sorry. One sec. Hush, Chewie. Yeah, so he could definitely assassinate some people, I think, without issue. With a couple items.
He could scale walls as well.
Scale walls, he's got glamour. 145 stealthy.
Yeah.
And 100 dark vision.
Which is actually very good for an assassin.
Yes. You have a Prophet of Sotek. This is your only blood 3. He's also he's got better blood searching. He comes with snakes.
Yeah, but well, that's really good for getting you up blood.
Yes, he will help you get up blood for sure.
Because he can make the blood thorn, construction.
Yeah, construction 6. He can make the blood thorn, and you're almost certainly going to have some rings. So you just toss one of the rings on him, then he can make both the other blood pieces.
Yep. Cool.
So yeah, he's very valuable for climbing blood.
He seems like your best hero so far.
I think so. Yeah. Then you have Gorak, the Great White Lizard, who is sacred. Has all the has a whole bunch of resistances. Is inspirational, but is sort of just a guy, right? He's got a lot of protection. He's just
Does the can you click on mace? What's that?
2 attacks.
Okay.
Magic damage.
Not as yeah.
I would say
Shield of Aeons. Does that do anything, or is that just?
Nah, just a magic shield.
Okay. No.
Sort of whatever. All the heroes show up with units.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, sure.
Not like a ton, but some.
Cool.
So yeah. The Eternity Warden.
This is very cool so far. I like this.
Yeah. He's got a big mace, and quickness, big castle defense bonus, and a big patrol bonus, but no paths. Its quickness is the helm. So sort of limited, in usefulness. This is 2x damage versus magic beings and has 2 attacks at 32 hits. So he is going to be very good at killing magic beings.
Yeah, that's 4 attacks. With that then? Every turn? And then 2 attacks?
Yes.
17 attack doing what is that?
32 and then 2x versus magic.
64 damage each. That's
I mean, he yes. If you get him in the same square with a magic being, they are going to die.
Cool.
Which is neat. He feels like he's more of a use case than some of the others, perhaps.
Maybe, yeah.
And then last one is Kroxagar. The first spawning, who is sacred, has a bunch of resistances, and is immortal.
What's the length of time on the immortality?
3 months.
Right.
So that's pretty quick. He's a fortune teller as well, and he has a 2 extra effect demon shredding, which is extra armor piercing damage versus demons.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised this nation doesn't have more anti-demon stuff, considering they're the lizardmen.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, neat hero. So yeah, I think the best heroes from like a Dominion's perspective, right? Like this guy getting you in blood is huge, and this guy's got some really cool use cases. I think and the Immortal is nice. I think some of the rest of these are, they're neat. Like this one and this one are neat.
I think the Assassin's.
The Assassin's very good.
Yeah.
I would agree. Assassin's very good. So let's move.
What's your overall feeling on the nation then?
So yeah, what I'm thinking, and we'll go into the bless. My thoughts are that you've got a lot of good troops. Your mages are obviously insane. My thought is that they're probably a little bit unwieldy in the sense that rolling out to fight you probably can't send just one Slann, right? You probably want to send at least 2. Otherwise, you're going to have one mage because all your little skink priests are going to get automatically go into the community whether you want them to or not. And these guys don't, but they've got really low paths, so they're not casting any of the really helpful combat magic. They can, some of them can jump into a communion, and then maybe they can do some elementals or something, or some other spells. But going to war seems like you're going to put a lot of gold into war early from a mage perspective.
I think you could do like an early rush with this nation. You've got a lot of foreign recruits. You've got some good leaders. You don't need the resources, so you can get a lot of people out really quickly in expansion. I think you could run at somebody, and then you build up that mage core after that.
Yeah, you could definitely try it.
Could be a way you play. You wouldn't have to though.
Right, it's tough. I think in games where there's certainly less of an established meta. In this case, because it's a mod that people don't play nearly as much. I think people tend to play slower because they just don't know what the other people can do. Like if the beastmen spawn next to me, right? It's like, can I rush them? I don't know. What do they do?
Yeah, true. Maybe that means you should rush someone then.
Well, you just gotta try and get an information advantage, and then you can figure it out. But what I was thinking, my first thoughts.
Have they got any unique pretenders?
No, they do not. Okay. Which I think the Skaven have unique pretenders, but they're like the only ones. I'm sure that's something that's like on the to-do list, but maybe not the most important bit. So I had a couple of thoughts on how
I think a lot of the Aztec ones kind of work with this nation anyway.
They do. So my first thought, right, is you probably want really good scales. Because of how potent obviously your troops are. You need full order, but you can dump productivity, and you definitely want heat 3.
I think those first 3 scales, I think you're pretty much always going to do that.
Agreed. I think you really want magic 3 as well, because you're going to want to turn your Slann off some percentage of the time, so they're a huge mage cost that you want to have some of them in your pocket, but they may not be researching. And you've got all these little foreign recruit mages that become a lot more efficient in Magic 3.
I think you probably do, yeah.
Growth, I think you could take 2 or 3. I think you're a nation that scales. And you just need the income.
Yeah.
Luck.
I think this feeds into your love of scales as well.
That's true. That's fair. And then luck. So your multi-hero is very good. So it'd be nice to get a lot of those. You need the gold, obviously.
I don't think you go neutral luck. I think you either.
No. I think my original let me see. I think my original pass on it looks something. Let's see. It's close to this. I don't remember exactly what else I spent money on or spent points on. So my thoughts are, you can go for the Mage Bless, obviously, and try and support your Slann. Now, your Slann are going to have, even this little one, right? Little one, 700 gold. The bigger ones have Farcaster already, so the only person you're really helping is your Recruit Anywhere Slann. Now, that may still be worth it, but the others do come with it on their own. And then your other mages that are sacred are, if they're in a fight with the Slann, not going to be able to take advantage of it. Now, these guys do, some of them will spawn water, right? And you could do like cheeky, long range, Frozen Heart stuff. If you're not going in like a big fight. They can also certainly take the penetration bonus, Arcane Finesse, but you will have really, really high paths already. Like, you're probably not rolling into combat with anything lower than like Astral 5 to begin with. It's sort of, my question with the Slann, right, is they're already amazing. How much of your bless do you want to put into making them better, as opposed to trying to fix some of your other problems?
Well, I think the Slann are, at the very least, they're your nation in the end game. They might not be.
100%.
So I think they are worth it. I think I wouldn't like to. I'm not going to give like a. I would take this much of this and this from this with this much.
Sure.
But I think you could definitely consider getting death. Breaks you into death could be very very
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah, could do it that way.
I think I would also consider getting Windwalker with air, because your Sloan were a lot lower map move than the rest of your troops. Being a 2 map move army is much better than a map move 1. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be
That's
very good.
interesting. I've never seen anyone take Windwalker, but I get the
I think
logic.
this nation would work with it. Um, I
Like,
think regeneration could be good. Slan
yes.
had a lot of hit points. How much did the
No, the Slan have really low hit points. They have like 8. Oh no,
uh,
sorry, not the Slan. The Slan have really high hit points, but you're not going to hit their hit points very often, right? Like, it's not going to help them cast.
well the your
Because
communion slaves also.
they would, but they only have 8 hit points. Then you could throw coral blades on them.
Yeah, well, it would help. But how much did the
It would help.
Saurus have? How much have they got? The Temple
The
Guard.
Temple Guard of 16.
Yeah, so it would help them. You've
It
also
would
got all
help
the
them.
summoned ones. It could be something to think about.
Yeah,
Reinvigoration, obviously, I think
very good.
seems like something I would definitely take. I'm not sure you need the resistances so much,
Yeah, so
because you can kind of cast all those anyway,
you can cast them all, and
and
you
a
can do
lot
it
of them
fast.
you have a lot of inbuilt resistances.
You do.
Um,
My thought with some of the resistances later is what I'm imagining your late game army is made up of a lot of these Temple Guard, right? Because as you get more forts, these guys are recruit anywhere. And so you could roll into combat, right, with these Omni resistance, um, Temple Guard who are going to shrug off a lot of what your opponent is doing. And they're recruitable anywhere. Is sort of what I was thinking from a late game perspective with resistances.
you could do that. Could do that. I'm not. They're not like a. I'm not sure
they're
I would want a a late game army made of them. I think I'd probably want summons or other things.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's nice of other things too, but I was just thinking from like they do, from a resistance perspective, you could actually field big sacred armies that start with resistances.
Yeah, I think your killing is going to come from your mages in the late game.
100%. They're just a line. They're there to stand there while the slime do the work. 100%.
Yeah.
Which is why you're not. But you also I was thinking that your other big problem and the other part of why the resistances could be nice. Now you're right. You can also cast them. Is your skinks can get killed in your communion because they're really low HP and they do not have tons of resistances, or indeed any except a little bit of poison. And so
the self-target spells for resistances are usually quite high. Like you can get like 25 or 15, I think, and
true.
that would spread to all your Dominion slaves.
That's true.
Dominion
Although you are
spells,
you're not going to have very many of these, so you'd have to probably it's
yeah.
it's a big
You
turn, but
also
they do
wouldn't
cost
need
fast.
you wouldn't need to do all of them. You would just tailor
No,
it to whatever you're fighting.
you would tailor it. You could also use these guys potentially, right? Have them jump in and then cast something relevant.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So
so that's true.
but
That's
also,
true.
it is valuable mage turns on valuable mages. So
Right. That's what I was trying to think of how you kill, sort of what you're up against. But yeah, you could also do a lot of summons and look for them to hold your lines up. I think you definitely want poison resistance because your guys don't have a lot of it, and that's going to really enable you to do foul vapors early.
what was the
Saurus
poison
only are
resistance
like
on the
3.
sacreds though?
The sacreds are only 3.
Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Plus, again, your skink priests are going to need it. Again, you can maybe get it through with the buffs, but it sort of helps save a little bit of time.
I think in general, you want defensive things. I think that's what
I would yes, yeah. All you need is the lizards to stand there and not die, and the slime will murder everyone.
Yeah. I think this nation feels to me a little bit like a combination between Satis and Phlegra in general. And then you also have all these summons
with the Maliki thrown in.
Yes,
or Maliki,
which is a very it's a very very strong combination.
It's a strong throw in.
And you're gonna desperately want cold.
Yeah, I don't know if you get a good Death Pretender.
Do you have any pretenders with alchemy, like the alchemizer trope?
I don't see the Archon.
No. Could just be a thought, because you could just alchemize your way to a huge economy.
Could try that. Yeah, I don't think I'm certainly doesn't.
I don't think there is though. I can't see.
Yeah, I don't think there has anything with alchemy. I don't think you need an expander.
No, not with good scales. I don't think.
No, you could also try and do like a little guy, and go. It's hard to get. You'd have to drop some. You'd have to probably do this with like a bad luck score or something to like really get a lot of paths.
Yeah, I think I'd be tempted to go for Misfortune too.
There's a multi-hero that has 12 paths.
There is, and that's a very good point. But it doesn't affect your heroes that you're getting. And
no, it doesn't.
You can get 200 points more for
it's a lot of points
to make all your already obtainable.
Yes, you're also order 3.
Hugely good. Yes, I think it's a nation you can definitely go.
So if you're doing something like that, you get 3 of everything or whatever, just a little shy.
Yeah, I think I would seriously be tempted to go for like a very, very high amount of earth and get a lot of reinvigoration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe get blood. I think blood surge is good as well. Works on your sacred troops, and then bit of invigoration on. Although it won't actually affect your communion slaves, will it? So the blood surge, I don't think so.
Right. Yeah, I don't. Blood surge is one of my classics.
It also helps you get up blood, which is apart from that hero, you don't actually have a way to get
right. But with recruitable, with 4 recruit blood ones, you can empower pretty easily.
I mean, you can, but you're not going to be blood hunting in many places because of heretic. That's also expensive. So I don't.
Yeah, I mean that could work. I'm just trying to think of what else you could do. So I mean, if you are committed, I think you want really high dominion, not necessarily because of the troops, but because you're going to have such good scales, and because you're so heat focused. Like you need to be, you can't let other people's like cold dominion creep in where you are.
Yeah, because cold blooded will
very very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to do like
yeah, what's the fire spell that increases heat in a province? Can you cast that very easily?
Breath of the Desert. I'm sure you can. I guess it depends how easily it's air fire. I don't remember how high it is
because you didn't have the recruitable mages don't actually have very high
individual paths.
Yeah, out of combat paths. So
right, I don't know exactly how easy it is for you to cast.
Yeah, so that seems because you're relying so much on your mages, and the cold will cripple them. So
the cold will be bad.
You definitely want to bear in mind.
Yes. Now you can mitigate that to some degree on the mages, right, by putting those reinvigoration casters in the communion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It only helps for the first 5 rounds, but eventually it works. Yes, if you do this, you can get a lot of points. I'm trying to think of what else I would really want here, because you can obviously stack on more reinvigoration. Yeah, it is size 5 or less, so you could send your guys up to size 6, and your little guys up to size 3. They'd get 30% more hit points, but that's I don't remember if Dominion's going to round up or down, but that's only like 2 or 3 hit points.
It would help for regeneration.
It would.
You can cast personal regeneration, so even without a bless,
yes. Yep. Yeah, no, it's definitely not. Definitely nothing. Didn't do that.
Yeah, I kind of like larger because it would give you that extra hit points. Because I think the Slann are also size 5, so
yes, it'll make them much bigger.
You'd still have 4 attacks per square for the sacred
It helps
troops.
their map movement too, although I don't think enough necessarily to change the dial. Yeah, +2 map move. So then
I think the map move, I think, is going to be if you played a game with it and then you played a game without it afterwards, I think you'd really miss it.
Yeah. Because yeah, I was looking at if there's a way to get like a good Deathcaster on here. I mean, you could go Undying, I guess. That helps with your regen problems.
Yeah, I mean it'd be good for the communion slaves. Cast regeneration on them and
right
can help keep that going longer. So it's good. I mean, it's not it's not great, but
it's not great. The Death Blesses are never never feel all that impressive because like I mean a lot of them are just focused on undead stuff, right? Like none of these.
Yeah, and fear and death.
Important.
Fear is too expensive, but also you wouldn't want to see it all the time, so it's hard to do.
Right. I mean, this is going to do a lot. Now, this larger is going to hurt your Sacred Temple Guard, I think. Because they're going to go from size 2 to size 3.
Well, 4 attacks per square is still above average, though. So
it is still above average. They'll have a decent
okay.
amount of hit points.
And they are going to hit really hard.
They will hit very, very hard. That is true. Yeah, I mean, like something like this is, I think, very workable. I mean, yeah, I guess the question is, do you want luck or do you not want luck?
I don't think you need major and minor poison resistance if you've already got some.
Sure, that's a good point. Probably get rid of the minor and add another hit point or something.
Yeah.
Low light vision could also be interesting, right? Because our dudes
Spirit Sight could also be good. Because you want to kind of cast Solar Eclipse.
Yeah, Solar Eclipse works. Spirit Sight is one death, one astral. What if you did this? Take that off. Add an astral.
I think we're generally there's quite a lot of things you can do with this. You want to make it mage focus, but you do have some decent sacreds. I think that's the.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't. Yeah, with something like this, you're committing to casting all the resistances you need every fight. But your troops are gonna, your sacred troops are gonna last for a long time. They've got +5 hit points. With larger, they're gonna have more hit points. This is gonna help you against remotes, right? The larger because it works all the time.
Yep.
Will help you keep alive against remotes a little bit better. Although I think your skinks are still in real trouble.
I think they're always going to be in trouble to some extent. Then.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't think that there's a ton you can do to fix it. You throw shrouds on them or something. If you throw a shroud on them, they get 5 extra hit points.
I think you want to be getting those big mages though.
But yeah, I think
the astral.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a hard time justifying spending pearls on things that aren't the big mage.
Yeah.
Realistically. But yeah, I think that I would probably aim. We've still got. I don't know. This is not exactly probably what you end up with, but I think that some version around here, right? This is at Death 5 with 1 slot. You can. Well, it doesn't matter with the slot. You can forge all the death boosters. You then maybe you blood empower your god to do. You have to blood empower twice, but then you can do vampires, and then you're fully into death. With Death 5, you could also just summon, a white mage or something. Blood empower that to get into vampires.
Yeah.
But
you could.
And then once you've got
options, I think in general with this nation, you've got a lot of different things you could do with the bless, but they all are trying to do a similar thing, which is probably break you into the death and further into the blood, and also to buff up the mages and keep the make the sacreds usable.
Yeah.
On a large scale.
Yep. While paying for all your scales. Yeah. No, I mean, I think this is a pretty reasonable one. So I don't think that we'll have time here to get into the expansion testing because we've been at this now for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But I could go and might try this in later on. A lot of Dominion the way we built this right now. I wonder if you could do like Wi-Fi. But yeah, I think we'll probably have to call it about here. Nice discussion on Itza. We needs lots of money, and then you just go you enact the great plan.
Yeah, you look through the spell book and you say,
yes,
that looks cool, I'll cast it because I know I can
yes.
unless it's got death.
Unless it's got death. Here, actually, the last thing we can do, just real quick, is I think I have a game, and we can just look at the spells. I don't remember what I was doing in this game.
Yep, I'm gonna have to disappear for
Okay.
just a second, but I'll be back.
I will pause and wait for you. Okay. So pause, everybody. We're back. Just to do real quick look into what the spells are that are unique for nation. So pterodons, you get some of the these birds.
Are they the
7
recruitable?
Plus. I don't know if they're the recruitable ones or not. Because your pterodons, the rest of them, we'll just cast. One.
That is an air nature crosspath that we talk about that earlier.
That's true. Although I feel like I was right to not remember it because it is a unique spell. So it is not the recruitable ones. I think this is what you get when the guys fall off.
Okay.
14 HP. Very middling protection defense. 2 attacks.
Surprised they're not undisciplined. Not having a rider.
Not undisciplined.
5 MR for an animal.
Again,
always makes me nervous.
They're probably good. Maybe they're good patrollers.
Probably.
They're decent patrollers. You'd have to run a calculation whether or not they're better or worse than other options, but those are your.
I think you use them because they're thematic as well. You can.
Yes. Okay, so you do have different levels. These are the
amphibious ones, I assume.
Amphibious ones. So you get 12, and the commander. It's 20 gems, but they are different kinds. And you can see, right, 2 of them are here at level 5, but the others are somewhere else. Rain of Snakes is the combat spell I mentioned that summons those serpents, but also hits people for a bit of damage.
Okay, so you throw the snakes on.
You chuck snakes. Okay. Here's here's your 3rd generation Slan, Astral 5 and 50 pearls. Now the question is, so you have Astral 4, so you aren't going to be able to use this. At Construction 4, yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be able to do it at Construction 4 because you should eventually random an Earth Path, and then you can make a Crystal Coin.
Yeah,
because that's Construction 4, right? I have to check.
I wanna. Yeah, the crystal stuff normally is, I think.
Yeah, but in any event, it's not that hard to do.
I mean, by the
doesn't
time
cost
you've got
that much.
Conjuration 7, you can.
Right, should be okay. 7. Oh, I'm sorry. It's only 70 pearls for the big guys, not 80. Now these are unique. So once you've gotten these 4, you can't keep summoning them.
Yep.
If they die, I think you can summon them again.
One more, I think, wasn't there? Or was it the two? One of them had 2 forms.
One of them has 2 forms. Yeah.
Okay.
The spears, maybe. Yeah, one of them has 2 forms. I think what it says, because the commander's unique, if you cast it again, it just brings him back where you got him, even if they've been killed. I don't know if that means that it comes back to life or not. I would have thought it didn't, because they're unique, but I don't know. I would have to test it. Alteration, like here, yeah, randomly, like in Alt 5, you have one of the spawnings.
I think that makes it harder for you to target the ones that you want.
Agreed. Yeah. Evocation 5, you have one of the spawnings. Construction 5, you have one of the spawnings. This one costs Astral Pearls, so I assume you're never doing it. Enchantment 5, also Astral Pearls, probably not happening. Thaum 5? Yep, Thaum 5 for air gems. That one's a maybe. And then in blood, you have serpents, where you make 9 of those blood serpents. Okay. And you throw them at people, it looks like. So probably compare to imps and see if they're better or not. Hopefully they are. They're a higher research level and they're a unique spell, but you never know. This is the spell I could not get to work. It causes a sea of blooded serpents to boil up and attack people, but I can't cast it. And then you have the spawning. This is 33 blood for the those critters.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. I think actually, kind of expensive, but it's also.
It sort of depends what else you want to try and spend your money on.
It's a lot better value though, surely, than the 20 gems.
Yeah. Do you know what? You also don't have the demons. So you will not be summoning any demons or vampire. Or no, hold on. I take it back. Who am I looking? No, it's just research. You have limited spells in research. I did not notice this in blood.
Okay.
There are no.
That just kind of makes sense.
Though. It does make sense. So you're not getting into
vampires.
You're not getting
vampires though. You're not getting them.
Okay. You know what? I wonder if that's the case for just these guys or if it's for everyone, given that like there's a whole vampire nation. And like there's a whole demon nation, right? So like it makes sense to pull out the generic demons. Several demon nations, I think. That's something I would have to go and check. I just noticed.
Yeah.
I just noticed that. Okay, so yes, your options for using blood then are more limited.
Can we have a look at like the lich and the? Do you not get that as well? Usually it's enchantment, or it could look.
Oh, is it enchantment? It could be enchantment.
Yeah, the lich is an enchantment. Yeah.
Lichcraft, still here.
You still got that then? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to see if it's just them or if it's.
Yeah. I mean, the lizard men are, demons are supposed to be there, like.
Right, they're the bad guys.
It might well be limited to just them.
Yeah, we just let's randomly just look at somebody else. I spawned a game that has all of them. Well, they obviously have their own chaos craziness. Okay, they do have Curse of Blood, so looks like it is just taking.
Do they get the demon lords and the?
So
they get the Heliophagus.
They get the Heliophagus. I don't know that they have any unique demon lord.
No, but they get the generic one.
Yeah, they do get the generic ones. Okay. Anyway, those are all the unique spells. Everybody needs to clutch their pearls so you can use them to spawn giant slime mages. Because those are pretty nice.
Fake borrow and steal as many astral pearls as you can get.
Yes. Yeah. So we're almost at an hour 45 here. I think we can cut it. If anybody made it through the whole thing, thank you. If you skipped here, then you should go back. There's, I'm sure you missed something really good in the middle there. But yeah, congratulations. But thank you so much for joining me. And
it's been good fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to look at another one at some point. Because they're all really. I mean, all the nations are really cool, and as you can see, there are quite a lot of them.
Yeah, I think I'd be quite interested in looking at Zarnagra and the Chaos Dwarves.
The Chaos Dwarf, yeah.
That's a lot of units. Nice.
That's everybody feels like you're playing Uruk, right? You're like, oh my god, I have 10,000 units I gotta look at.
Yeah. It's not as bad as LA Marignon with all their mages, though. It's not quite as many. Not
quite as bad as them. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining me. Thank you, Arcadius, for being on the channel, and I think we're gonna go ahead and call it here.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
All right. Have a good day.